So you sit down, you're super excited, and you're ready to get started writing your book. But it seems like all those great ideas you've had for the last several days or earlier that morning have just passed by. Or maybe you're sitting there and you're staring at a blank sheet of paper and it feels like so much pressure to get your thoughts and your words onto this paper. All of us writers have been there before, where we have a great idea, we're ready to write our book, we have a great concept, and we sit down to write, but it seems like nothing comes. Well, I want to let you know that you're not alone in this experience. And more importantly, today I want to walk you through some strategies that you can start to implement that are pre-writing strategies so that when you sit down to start writing, you're already setting yourself up for success. The first strategy takes a little bit of preparation, but it takes a lot of pressure off of you when you sit down to write. And that is create an idea notebook, or you can even use an app on your phone. It's really interesting, but I get a lot of really cool ideas in my sleep as well as in the shower. Both places are not ideal to having somewhere to write, but as soon as I hop out of the shower, I'll write down my idea. Or if I wake up out of my sleep, I'll write down the idea. And that way, when it comes to my writing session, I have something that I can reference and say, oh, I remember I wanted to write about this, or I remember I wanted to incorporate this quote or this situation or this story. Having a thought or idea notebook helps me to take some of the pressure off of all the things that I'm expecting my brain to remember, put it onto paper, and then use that paper as a blueprint to guide and direct my writing during my writing time. The second strategy is to create a plan. No good writing session happens without some type of structure or blueprint or plan to follow. And so the plan is a comprehensive view of a lot of different things. So you want to plan out what your expectations are for the session. What do you want to write about? Maybe a word count goal or a page count goal. Maybe it's just that you want to focus on a particular chapter. Maybe it's you just want to focus on editing. But having a plan lets you know what to set yourself and your focus on during that time. You also want to plan around your schedule. This is huge. Sometimes people just want to write at the drop of a hat. And if you're feeling really creative, that might work. But if you're just like, all right, I'm just going to write because I didn't write earlier today when I should have, and let me just go, you may not be in the right mindset or the right environment to set yourself up for success. So when you're creating a writing plan, you want to think of the time of the day that you're going to be most productive. You want to think of the best ways that you're going to be able to avoid distractions. And you're also going to want to think of the environment where you can write. Are you going to go to a local Starbucks and write? Are you going to write in your basement? Are you going to write in your bed? All of these things are important to consider beforehand. So that way, when you go into your writing session, you're already setting yourself up for success with the time, the location, and the reduction of distractions. But you're also setting yourself up for success by identifying ahead of time what you need to focus on. Now, you want to be able to build on your content, your topic, or your idea for that writing session. And there's two different ways that you can do this. You can kind of have an outline and like brainstorm and write like that, or it can be more like free writing. And the truth is, free writing can sometimes be really good for yourself when you pull the pressure off and you're like, I'm just going to let my brain go. I'm going to look at this idea journal. I'm going to let some ideas pop in my mind. I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself to perfectly follow an outline. You'll be surprised what ideas may come up, what concepts or topics or things you want to focus on. And maybe it might even take you in a little bit of a different direction or give you some new or creative ideas. Some people don't like free writing because it feels like you're not really making sense. And the truth is, at the end, you can piece it all together and put it together to help it make sense. But if you're not really into free writing, it's important that you should create an outline. An outline will help you to structure the organization of the session. So if you're working on chapter 5 and chapter 5 is about how to get out of debt, maybe you're structuring all the different key components that you want to include in that chapter. So as you're writing, you're able to check that off and remember to follow that guideline. There's a lot of different ways, but the best thing is you want to move on those ideas that you'd like to incorporate on your book. Some key pointers that I'd like to share is don't feel like you need to edit when you're writing at all. Let that writing come and then you can edit at a later time. So don't put the pressure on yourself if you misspell a word or maybe something's out of order. You can come back later and do that. Also, another key strategy, sometimes when you're feeling locked up or you're feeling pressured or you're overwhelmed with so many things or too little things, you can actually take some time to pull away from a computer if you're on a computer. And research says that actually physically writing, putting your hand to pencil and pencil to the paper helps get that creativity flowing. And so that will also put you in a position to allow you to access more of those creative ideas that you'd like to add in to your book. Also, if you're just trying to free write, you can look up different writing prompts by just Googling them and allow yourself to use that as a starting point to get your writing flowing. Finally, the last step is to start writing. This is where a lot of people get nervous because they want everything to be perfect. But let me just tell you, there is no book in the history of writing that has ever published the rough draft. It's called a rough draft because it's rough, hence the name. And so it's important to understand that your first writing approach is not going to be perfect. That's okay. Take the pressure off of yourself. Acknowledge that it's not going to be perfect and just let yourself be you. Let the emotions come through, let the thoughts and the ideas come through, and later you can make any adjustments that you see fit. These are strategies that I've used time and time again, and I love them. They really put me in a position to take the pressure off and just be me when I write. And most importantly, they set me up for success. So I'm excited for you to get started, and I just want to say, happy writing, guys.